We didn't witness the accident, but in time we learned what happened. A small gray Jeep pulled out of a blind industrial parking lot right in front of Tony, and Tony swerved and braked to avoid hitting. He swerved left to avoid the Jeep, skidded, and hydroplaned through a patch of water at the base of the levee, then fishtailed wildly in the other lane with another set of headlights approaching in the distance. When the wheels gripped, he swerved left again, probably hoping for safety in the wide-open grass of the levee, but instead careened the Cadillac up on two wheels in a jerky spasm of horrific, unbalanced speed. The spasm ended quickly in the levee-side telephone pole. Front driver's side wheel and front fender the first points of contact. Tony's big upper torso was pinched like a bug between the side of the windshield and the top of the crumpled Cadillac door. His head was bent down out of sight and his arm was unnaturally behind his back. Carol's head was leaning to the left when we first got to them, but she was sitting back in her seat. Even before stopping the Chrysler, Phyllis had her tiny cell phone out and was calling 911. Up to this point in my life, I had never seen nor been involved in a serious car accident, especially involving people I was acquainted with. Highway accidents that you pass after a long, slow delay, or from the other side of the highway, are sometimes wildly graphic in their display of twisted, smashed vehicles, but it's rare that you see the injured. Shattered glass, broken reflectors, hoods folded in half, or front ends crumpled like accordions, collapsed roofs, engine blocks pushed into front seats, windshields turned into shattered glass colanders, bucketed inward and outward as if from catapulted cannonballs. All of these sights are regular reminders of the dangers of the road. Passing accidents had always been a passive affair, highly impersonal, a detachment achieved by the passing and never stopping, scenes of empty shells, eye-catching car carcasses, vehicles arranged like chess pieces on a mad, impossibly violent set of squares. White Rook takes Black Knight, Black Queen takes Red Pawn, Tan Taurus takes Blue Mustang. The force of such a collision unimaginable to someone who didn't experience it. But the morbid imagination explores. What would it take to do that to my car? Good God, what does that feel like? Was it quick and painless? Any chance the poor sap's soul slipped through the sunroof? Though sometimes an accident appears worse than it was. Two decimated cars, totaled beyond recognition, with 4 passengers on the side of the road, arguing over how it happened and who was at fault, numb from the shock of surviving the crash, reflexively acting like it was only a rush hour fender bender. One car embedded in another with miraculously crumpled crumple zones and wholly intact passenger cabins. Miracles of science, the modern cars of today are. True feats of structural engineering that allow us to travel so casually from place to place at inhuman speeds. A casualness due in large part to the snug fit and reassuring click of good supplemental restraint systems. Bothersome at times, but trusted protectors. By their nature, seatbelts are not sexy. They're not even very interesting, as far as technology goes. But like the manual typewriter, the manual lawnmower, and the Heimlich maneuver, they work. We might enjoy the occasional ride to the corner store without them, or down a dirt road to a secluded beach house. But deep inside, we realize the horrible risk we take, flying along all free and unrestricted like a piece of hard organic cheese on a high-speed cracker. Projectiles and loaded cannons facing plate glass windows. Besides, we know that most serious accidents happen within a mile or two of home. So reverse logic might convince us that the farther away you go, the safer it is to not wear the belt. No, the belt, we all know, is the first and last line of defense. A car without them, even on a farm, is inexcusable. A person not wearing the one they do have takes their life into their own hands without a good grip. Tony knew all this. He knew the seatbelts were essential, and that's why he fixed them. Even installed new ones, even if it took him a few years. Another worthwhile benefit would be the pleasure of taking his girl Carol out for a spin in a very worthwhile convertible, as they had done in previous years, more carelessly and more in love. Reason enough to make the car roadworthy, to host a worthy passenger. Not just a good idea, but a great idea, an opportunity for a resuscitated romance, a return to days of a dreamy state of being for the aging and increasingly practical. A scenic American vista, love accepted, and a turquoise Cadillac to keep it in touch with its roots. The police came and stood around ineffectually waiting for the EMTs. They asked us what had happened, and we didn't know. It was the driver of the Jeep and the driver of the car coming the other way that laid out the facts.